Well, Anthony, it's Monday. I'm excited to be back here today, but it's the last day of August and end of summer. Makes me so sad.
It's September already?
Oh, God. Tomorrow. Today's August 31st. Live it up while you can, people. Let's get the show started. All right. August 31st. We are here. Anthony, I'm excited because we got a lot of great information and some surprising stuff coming up about the hospitality industry today.
Well, you know I'm a numbers guy, so let's start talking numbers.
We're getting right into it. Coming up first for a quick segment, Mr. Del Rossa, hotel effectiveness. Boom, we're bringing him right in. No fancy graphics. We don't have that much time with him today. Del, I don't want to bury the headline for you. You're seeing some really interesting stuff out there. You brought it to our attention. What's going on that you want to share with the world right now when it comes to numbers you're detecting over at Hotel Effectiveness?
So amid all the bad news of this whole COVID-19 crisis and the impact to the industry, I think we all kind of held on to the idea that maybe the upside of a bigger employment pool, it's high unemployment, would be that wage rates, which were rising by double digits in most markets for the last 4 years, that they would actually come down a little. It's not true. Actually, it turns out that wage rates are actually up. And this is what we wanted to share. Wage rates have actually increased. If we have that graphic.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Increased by as much as 4% for the most common positions in hotels across the U.S. from February until just last week. Now, there are some pretty good reasons for this, but this is basically the upshot of this is there's no relief for hotels in wage rates, right? They're going to have to find the savings through efficiencies and productivity gains, not from hoping to cut wages. Now, right off the bat, you can know that some of this is driven by tenure. The fact is the people we kept on board and that we hired back first were your more experienced, more tenured representatives.
And possibly had already been earning a higher salary.
Yeah, but how do you account for that you're trying to give them a wage that if they weren't working and they decide not to come back, they were getting the $600 surplus from the government. So how much of that is built in? And also how much is built in that they're basically getting danger pay to be on the front lines right now during a pandemic?
Well, I think that is factored in. We did a breakdown of a particular position, the room attendant position, right? Every hotel has it's the most populous position. So throw that on there on the screen real quick.
Here it comes.
So if you break out new hires, which was defined as hired within the last 30 days, a new employee record from February, as at the end of February and as of last week in August, no change there compared to tenured hires where the pay has gone up. Now that tenured hire number, Anthony, shows what you're seeing is that we're actually paying more to keep the best people around, right? That not only are they more likely to be the ones that we kept in the first place, the longest tenured, most experienced and best quality people, they're the ones we kept and built a team around. But the new hires, right, we're paying them the exact same thing that we were before COVID hit.
Any explanation as to why you think that number has remained stable and hasn't decreased? Does that $600 that the government was giving have to do with the fact that hoteliers may have needed to pay more to get folks to pay attention that there are jobs opening, or maybe some other variable?
Got three reasons why we're not paying less to new people, why we didn't get to see a benefit there. Reason number one is that it's actually hard to recruit people into these jobs because of, well, first, they've come off of this extra pay that they were receiving from the government. That was a factor, no longer a factor today. Second, related to that is the fear of the job. They are concerned about being exposed to the virus in these contained environments. So a little bit of fear. That's reason number one. Second, this came from Chris Green at Chesapeake. I thought it was an excellent idea, observation. He believed that we were underpaying before COVID. And that was one of the reasons why we had such high attrition problems.
Right.
We weren't paying enough. So in fact, the wages should have been higher for new people, and they didn't move because now maybe they're close to market. That's reason two. Reason three, and this is probably the main reason, managers who are making these hiring decisions don't have great data on what they should be paying. They just don't know. And they look at the last rate they were using for bringing on people, and they just kept it forward. They just used the last new hire rate in their system and continue to press that forward. So a little bit of inertia there. This means there might be an opportunity to press wages a bit, but probably the other two factors would kick in and prevent that from being a big opportunity. The upshot is we're not getting any relief on wage rates anytime soon.
That's fascinating. However, there are fewer people working in each hotel, so the overall labor costs have gone down. And I'm not saying this for you, Del. I'm saying this for the audience. So while your line item might be less for labor, each individual person is now earning more money. What are the ramifications for this on a go-forward basis for your typical hotel out there, Del?
Well, as I said earlier, you're absolutely right. The absolute labor costs are about half of what they were because your staff is
half are gone.
It was, right? And that's great, I guess, except that the marginal, that your gross operating profit and net operating income is still really, really low because your revenues aren't there. And with a 20% drop in ADR, it actually takes a lot more business to even make the dollars you were making before. Your margins are actually way down. So here's the implications here. You can't count on wages to make your margins, to make up for that drop in top line. And in order to make your GOP targets, you can't do that. You have to get more productivity, which means you have to start tracking things like adherence to your labor standards, the minutes per room for cleaning time, minutes per check-in, the time for cover and table turnover for if you do have an open restaurant. All these productivity factors, need to be tracking those and really holding your manager's feet to the fire to make sure that they're actually keeping that productivity as high as possible and looking for opportunities to boost it wherever possible. Also, you can't have any scheduling inefficiencies. You don't want to overschedule now because you can't get that extra labor back. You can't get those costs back by cutting labor tomorrow. Yesterday's wasted labor costs are gone, just like last night's unsold room can never be sold, right?
Right. So that makes a whole lot of sense to me, Del. And I've gotta ask you, what do you think is the overall employment situation going forward? You said that jobs are open out there. I am anecdotally seeing a lot of jobs open out there, yet there are so many fewer positions out there. Is it just that a lot of people, in your opinion, are leaving the industry entirely or have just decided not to go back to work now? What is the prevaricating factor, and do you think that that's going to change anytime soon?
So remember, we had 1 million open positions in our industry pre-COVID, right? So we were already coming in from underemployed based on what we needed. We lost 3/4 of the jobs in April. We've clawed our way back up to half of the employment level. And yes, there's some open positions. Some are actually legacy going way back that we needed, some critical operating positions. But there actually are still mostly not a lot, right? There's not a lot of jobs out there. And the employment has stabilized. The employment index, which is the percent of normal in terms of overall staffing, has stabilized at about 53% for USA hotels. We actually think that's going to stay the same for the next couple of months as leisure peak is gone. This weekend, we might see a little spike. After this weekend, we'll see it kind of stabilize and maybe dip down a little bit before it comes back up again with the slow recovery of corporate transient.
Right. Makes a whole lot of sense. Anthony, you're muted yourself.
So I understand 53% of jobs that we had at the beginning of this are gone.
Other way around. So 47% of the positions that were filled have not yet been reopened and refilled.
47%.
We're up to 53% employment from where we were before.
And how many jobs in the hospitality industry are there at full employment?
8.3 million.
So we've basically lost 4 million jobs.
We've lost about 4 million jobs. Exactly. And, you consider that we prior to COVID, we were a $600 billion contributor to the United States $3 trillion GDP.
Say it one more time. Say that number again.
The hotel and hospitality industry contributed $600 billion of the United States total $3.3 trillion GDP, right? And 8.3 million jobs out of all the jobs in the USA. We are a massive contributor to the economy in every aspect, and we've got a long way to go before we can say we've recovered.
Right. Wow. Del.
There are 50,000 hotels in America, right?
56,000, what most people consider hotels. You throw in the B&Bs and the really small hotels that are out there. Actually, it's 90,000 lodging places.
Right.
And how many rooms? I'm actually doing an interview after this, and
I know. I think it's like 1.3 million or something like that. Dale, what is the actual?
Oh, sorry, I don't have the room number on you. Next time I come on, I'll have
Anthony,
all my library of stats for you.
Yeah, we could find those numbers at AHLA's website. We'll do that and get them to everybody out here. Dale, we promised you the 10 minutes. You got your 10 minutes. Any final words before you go? I think you covered it pretty close.
Yeah, sorry to drop the data bomb on you early, but I wanted you guys to have it. your folks want to know. And as we come up with additional insights in the labor market, it's changing all the time. We'll let you know.
Yes, and we will have you back for a fuller conversation at another time. Thank you, Del Ross. See you next time.
Thank you.
Great. Loved that he called it a data bomb, but I loved it even more that he came to No Vacancy Live first with that exclusive.
That is correct, my friend. We got exclusive every which way. Let me ask you a question.
Yes,
what
sir.
is the TSA numbers? Do we have updated TSA?
Yeah, I can bring those numbers up.
So now I remember, as you look them up, I'll fill some air. So I remember last year
I'm ready.
in March. March was like what, 400,000 when this started. So where are we now?
All right. So, yes, it was down to 400,000. We are now over twice that. Just this weekend, we had 807,000 yesterday, 695 compared to 1.88 million. So we're still a million short from where we were last year, but it is getting better. Now, mind you, there were days earlier last week where it was only in the 500,000s, and that was only a quarter of what was going on. So there's that has to do some fluctuations with the holidays at the end of the year and the way that the calendar is working.
I'm very interested to see what happens when all this leisure business dries up. And all of a sudden, we're counting on corporate business, and it's not there. So I'm very interested to see what that looks like. I'm also interested to see if people are going to take some more vacations September, October, November to get some of the warm weather, especially on the East Coast, under their belt as they're able to work from home.
Yeah, and
my kids right now are all either working from their dorms or working from home. So in college, I wonder, what's that?
My kids are going to be going back to school 2 days 1 week, 3 days the next. Theoretically, I could take them away for 4 or 5 days whenever I want.
Right. And will you do that?
No, because my wife's on a 5-day schedule, but I still can fantasize about having some time off.
You and her, you could take the kids by yourself.
I should do that. And I think that they would appreciate having a little daddy time. I know I love kids time. All right, Anthony, let's go from hearing what's going on with behind the scenes at the property level to how guests are thinking today. We've got Andrea Stokes of JD Power. Let's bring her right on. All right, there's over 5 million guest rooms in the USA per the American Hotel Lodging Association. So says Del Ross. Andrea Stokes, welcome so much for being here. She's the hospitality practice leader over at JD Power. And Andrea, we've never had a chance to speak on the show before, though I've had folks that have filled that role before, and it's always great data that you're bringing to us today. So first of all, welcome to the show. And second of all, what did you make of that conversation that we heard from Del Ross of Hotel Effectiveness?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be on. Anthony, big fan of yours, so very, very excited today. I thought the data was great, very interesting on labor wages and hospitality. I actually teach hospitality classes in my very limited spare time. We're always trying to help our students, right, find jobs in the industry and, think of the industry as a good place to build a career. So it was very interesting.
I'm glad you said that, because now more than ever, we need to hear those words that there's a lot of, listen, this is a moment in time. This is something they're going to write in history books, and we're going to talk about probably the first thing we talk about when we're talking about what happened when we were, when we were younger, right? So our grandchildren. I lived through a pandemic. Get my dentures. So So I'm glad you said that, because there's so much opportunity. And matter of fact, my company will probably be developing a 5-star hotel out in California, hopefully within the next 12 to 18 months. So there's tremendous opportunity. I just placed a couple of young students in different roles and different jobs for different hotels. So it's great. So what are the great numbers? Give us good numbers.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for.
Well, first, can you please explain the satisfaction index so our listeners and viewers, and of course, if you're listening on the audio podcast feed, thank you for doing that. And if you're not listening to it, of course, you subscribe to that at checking in with Anthony and Glenn on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere else. Take your dog for a walk. Listen to our show. Sorry, Andrea, back to you.
Sure. So JD Power has been collecting guest satisfaction and guest feedback for, I think we're on 24 years. So our latest data is our 24th year of our hotel guest satisfaction study. We this past year were able to survey over 38,000 hotel guests in the U.S. for these are guests of branded hotels. And that's a pretty strong number. Of course, not as strong as in the past, because we did have to stop our data collection a little bit early, right, due to COVID. Normally, we run our data collection from June to the month of May every year. But since everything shut down in March, we kind of took a pause on our study. Obviously, it was very difficult, if impossible, to find hotel guests during the months of March and April this past spring.
Yes, that makes sense.
So, but we still have a lot of data. We cover a lot of hotel brands. Of course, the number of brands just keeps growing every year in the branded space. So we do try to cover as many brands as possible once brand kind of gets large enough in terms of properties.
What do you consider?
What have you learned?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our past data, of course, was pre-COVID. The industry, of course, was going gangbusters before March, but it seems guests were very, very satisfied. So hotels were running at full speed, both on the business and leisure side, and really, really servicing guests better than they ever had before. We do capture guest satisfaction in all 6 of the segments. So from luxury on down to economy. And in all 6 of our segments, are kind of the average performance of the brands has gone up since last year, meaning kind of all brands, right, did a little bit better than the prior year. So that was quite interesting to us. Also, prior to COVID, hotel rooms were already very, very clean. And guests were noticing that, because we do measure guest room cleanliness every year. And that number had reached the highest ever. And it's been going up in terms of the rating for guest room cleanliness on an annual basis. So it just showed, I think, that, things like cleanliness and staff service and, everything kind of was going at full speed for the industry. And guests were happy generally.
Right. All right. So how does things change then compared to what you saw then to now? Do these numbers still matter at all?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So we are still collecting. We've moved on to our next study now. We are collecting hotel guest stays across the U.S., right? We did kind of include some interesting questions around, cleanliness and COVID, and how the hotel brands and portfolios were performing on kind of the safety protocols, right, that they all put out. So we're starting to now collect that kind of information to have available, so that, our subscribers to our study, right, can see what the guest is kind of seeing on the ground. some of the protocols, right, that the large chains have put out and have kind of instructed hotels to use in terms of cleaning and disinfecting and safety. We always know that sometimes, those protocols don't always happen on the ground. So we're seeing, some hotels are doing better than others in terms of following those protocols.
Well, I mean, that's the story of all times, right? This is an interesting question we're getting from one of our viewers on YouTube. How do you think the elimination of free continental hot breakfast is going to impact guest satisfaction at that limited service mid-scale hotels, such as Hamptons, Comforts, that ilk of property?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I just came back from my first hotel stay in many, many months, of course, and it was a limited service hotel. I was with my kids and my husband, and, we couldn't have, my kids love hotels and they love the free breakfast and getting the waffles and everything.
Yeah.
That was completely missing from our experience. So, a little difficult in this environment to sort of see that going on, and hotels not being able to kind of provide that benefit, right? Even limited service and having even a continental breakfast, guests really like that, and they actually choose hotels because of that. And now that's missing.
Right.
I do think it'll come. That kind of thing will probably come through our data as we kind of go on collecting throughout this year and next year.
And I really think there's going to be an opportunity for a brand that gets it right, because you cannot cut out this breakfast for these limited hotels. You can't. It's become a staple. It's become the heartbeat of these hotels. That's why you choose it, because it's quick, it's easy. It's not maybe the best breakfast, but whether you're on, like when I travel for my daughter's volleyball, whatever, or you're on business, I'm in and out with my crew. I don't understand why they can't change the furniture, change where the food's placed, and you get a person that works for you, and they give them the food. They make the waffles. They give them the eggs. They give them the sauce, and you take it up to your room. You provide them with some kind of trays they can eat on their bed, or they can eat on their desk. Or if they have a big convention room, I don't understand why they can't separate people or have it outside. I think it's an easy out. I think hotel owners have been complaining about the cost of breakfast for years. And I think they're like, you know what? We're losing money to begin with. Let's cut this out. I think that's a huge mistake, because if you tell me X brand right now is having continental breakfast, but the other brands aren't, I'm in. I'm done. I have a new brand to go to. And not only am I going to go to them, I'm going to be loyal to them if it's good, because they did something that no one else can figure out. So I think right now, the race to really, if you really want to leverage up on your brand, is get continental breakfast right. I think you can do it. I know you can do it. It's just effort and whether you want to spend the extra money. And that's when maybe the brands can reduce a couple of the items on the menu to make it work, but still not get a bag and then have to, with a bagel. So
they are going to have to do that, Anthony. They're going to have to figure something out in order to deliver it, because it is such a customer satisfier. But I think the one big holdup is that labor cost that Del was talking about. We've lost 47% of people. Hoteliers just don't really have the money to spend on other personnel on property. And the only concern that I have is being able to deliver a great breakfast experience for customers today, while simultaneously keeping those costs in check to what they are right now.
They can do it if they want to do it. They can do it if they want to do it. They can figure it out. Listen, there's no big secret, right? You're saving on housekeeping labor because you're not cleaning rooms every single day. It is very, very tough. I am not in any way, shape, or form saying some of these hotels are going to go bankrupt. The way not to go bankrupt is to give them something your competitors cannot give them. So right now, this is a really good brand advantage. This is a hotel advantage. And if you can figure it out, it doesn't have to be overly expensive. I used to say, I actually did on one of my shows, is when you set up a continental breakfast, put the cheap stuff up front and then put the more expensive stuff at the end. So their plate's full of time, they get to the more expensive stuff. And if you have somebody doing that and providing that, there's a way to figure it out. And the people that just throw their hands up, I have a hotel that I worked with, and they closed one of the venues because they said never made money. Well, for 2 years under my team, we made money. So it's just a matter of wanting to do it and wanting to understand that it's a benefit and a marketing advantage right now. And there's not many marketing advantages or benefits. Use this.
Right. All right. So, Andrea, let me ask you this.
Sure.
How is this segmented? Is this mostly leisure travel, business travel, or how's that broken down? And then after that, what are the brands, according to those statistics that you have, that are doing it great? And then, Anthony, we can talk about whether or not we feel they're still doing such a great job out there. So, Andrea, take it away.
Sure. So our study usually captures about 20% of business travel, 80% leisure. So, not, every brand is different in terms of their mix, right? And that will be reflected in our study. But the study is heavily leisure travelers. But, I think, that's generally when we have to cover all segments, right? That is what we will see. Obviously, in upper upscale and luxury, we do capture more business and convention traveler feedback. But as it kind of all plays out after we have 38,000 respondents, is 80% leisure.
Wow, so that's a really good sample size there. So according to these respondents, what hotels, in your respondents' opinion, are doing a great job?
Right. So in our study results that we just released in July, the luxury winner was the Luxury Collection, Marriott brands. And then in upper upscale, actually, it's Wyndham Grand. So a smaller Wyndham brand, but it's the Grand hotels there. In upscale, we had, I just want to make sure I get this right. Hyatt House is our winner in upscale. And then upper mid-scale is Drury Hotels. So actually it was Drury's 15th year, I believe, of winning the J.D. Power Award for that category. So they have a really good track record. Obviously, Drury's a more regional brand, but we definitely are capturing many of their guests in our study every year. So congratulations to Drury. And then in upper mid-scale, we actually had, in mid-scale, we had a new brand win the J.D. Power Award for the first time, and that's True by Hilton. So
terrific job by Hilton.
I think True has maybe been around since 2016, that time frame. So in hospitality, right, it's a fairly new brand in terms of time, but they've really grown very quickly. And they, have grown enough where we were able to include them. So congratulations to the True brand. And then in economy, it was Shore Stay by Best Western. So that's also a new brand. Not too many properties yet for Shore Stay, but again, they've grown enough to be included.
That's right. They're doing an absolutely fantastic job, mostly in the conversion type of universe of that end of the market. Anthony?
That's a great name for a hotel right now. And listen, if they won those awards previous, those are the hotels that are going to get COVID right. They're going to get the cleaning and the breakfast. They're going to get them right because they're paying attention. You cannot run a hotel at that level and continually get those awards from you guys, which are difficult to get, without really thinking about the guest and really being fanatical about the guest service and getting the guest what they want. So I think those people that are on that list probably did it right, I would imagine.
Yeah, excellent. All right, Andrea, it seems like we went through this information pretty good. Any final words before we wrap up today?
No, we again are starting to collect information on the protocols, the safety, the cleaning. So obviously that's new, but we do have that data now, so we're able to see properties and brands, how they're doing. So far from what I've seen, it's mixed. So even when it comes to the staff wearing masks, right? Not all of our survey respondents are saying that the staff was wearing masks, which is really surprising. That number should be 100%, but it's not. So just, we are tracking these safety protocols and some of these things in terms of what guests are seeing on the ground, what they're experiencing. Again, we're all about tracking the guest experience. So we will have some of those numbers probably by mid-October. We'll be able to kind of release how so far in just the past 3 months or so, how hotels are doing.
Well, I can't wait to find out more about what's going on and what customers are thinking out there. Andrea, shameless plug, how can we find JD Power?
jdpower.com. So you'll see a lot of automotive, on our website. But if you just go to jdpower.com/business, you'll be able to find all of our other work that's non-automotive, including hospitality and travel.
Well, I am auto-motivated to talk more about hotels with you another time. Yeah, Anthony, I did that just to mess with you. Andrea, thank you so much for being here. Or as far
thank you so much.
Andrea, thank you. Really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for being on.
Thank you very much.
Live with Anthony.
Glenn, you just won the JD Power Award for worst pun ever.
I know. Yet I'm okay with that. Oh my God.
All right, so
who needs vacation more than me?
Very interesting, right? A lot of stuff's going on. Colleges are going back. People are getting off vacation. Corporate's not really traveling. Conventions aren't happening. The big cities are in turmoil. People are moving. Moving companies are probably busier than they've ever been. So really interesting what's going to happen between. And we may have an election in November. We have an election from September. So from September to January, it's going to be very, very interesting. And America just won the JD Power Award for shitting the bed for the response to COVID. So congratulations.
Hey, that's congratulations.
I just read a list that we literally were the worst country in our response to COVID. How insane and depressing is that?
That is both insane and depressing, I got to tell you. But hopefully we will get our act together because, mind you, listen, everybody out there, we don't really want to have to take a political stance. What we are doing is we are standing up for the hospitality industry, for hoteliers, for restaurateurs, all of the people out there that have lost their jobs. It is absolutely essential that we try to do the right thing to get past this COVID situation so we can get back to work, get people to travel, and get people to start spending money again on the road.
And I cannot wait till we get back because if you came any closer to that camera, you're going to scare some more children and big bears. Remember, my friend, we have a podcast as well, so people hear those sounds and then they shut us off. So let's not get so close to the camera and make really funny noises.
All right. But listen, if that ever does happen in the past, in the future, audio listeners, you know exactly what's going on. I cannot control myself.
Hey, it's a big day in the podcast world. It is
a big day in the.
Tell everybody why.
I have no idea.
Joe Rogan moved to Austin and starting
tomorrow, to September 1st.
Hey, the 1st. Oh, tomorrow.
No, today's the 31st, my friend.
Oh, the 1st. Okay, so tomorrow. So I'm so excited. He's starting his new podcast in Austin. He has a new studio. I've been watching him build it.
Oh, wow, cool.
And he started on the 1st. Go to his Instagram. Go to Joe Rogan Instagram. And it looks like a space. It looks like something Elon Musk built. It's amazing. And he has a this is what we need on our podcast. There's a dial that if you're going to cough, if you're a guest, you just push the dial and it shuts your mic off.
Right.
So can we get that, please?
Yeah. No. I did install one too. I did install something to cut you off though. So I got that going.
No, I will tell you this. I think the good news, bad news is the bad news is I think our response to this as a country has not been what it should have been. The good news is, and this isn't really good news, is people are traveling anyway.
Right.
And people are wearing their mask and listen, I've been doing, we've been doing a little traveling. I've been out. Everyone seems to be doing, at least on the East Coast, at least in New York, everyone seems to be doing their job to keep this thing under control. It'll be very interesting in the next week to hear what the union in New York City is going to do as far as are the teachers going to go back to work. So I'm really interested to find out, and my wife being a teacher, what the union's response is going to be to going back to work, because I don't know how comfortable they feel, the union, in going back. I know my wife would love to go back, so we'll see what happens.
Right. And all right, to this comment, thanks for your honesty and transparency. No politics. The only politics we're going to play here is pro hotel business politics. We are in it to make sure that you guys succeed. Not just we're talking about stuff that's going on with Capitol Hill with great interviews, such as ones with Chip Rogers at the HLA, or forthcoming, we should be within the next 3-4 weeks have Roger Dow of U.S. Travel on the show. We'll get Cecil Staten back from AHOA, all of those kinds of people. But outside that, we're really about bringing the news and insights to make all of you more successful in this particular sort of world, including Anthony's company, Hospitality Success, which I really love, Anthony, because one of the things that you're doing is giving people, you're teaching them how to fish instead of giving them the fish.
Yeah, absolutely. So please go to hospitalitysuccess.com. And I wanted to get Colleen on today's show because we're missing Colleen, and she's looking to start a fight. Look at this. She wants us to be controversial. We're not going to be controversial, Colleen.
All right. I have no idea, though. Is 1,300 cases up, down, sideways?
It's down. Florida's been on the 4,000 or 5,000 track. Just to put it in perspective, New York City is 400, 500, 600, 700. Right. We've been in that. Now kids are going back to school, so you're seeing a little bit more. I know my daughter, both my daughters went to school. They had to be tested. They're basically taking most of their classes in the dorm. They're taking a couple on campus, and the schools are doing, at least the ones that I've been dealing with, are doing a great job. And one of my daughters cannot go back to school because her school decided to do everything online. So,
hey, listen, here's some good news. Angela Tormey, her name didn't show up through our interface, but she's corporate sales manager. They're booking 18 rooms for 4 nights next month. Hooray. Things are moving in the right direction for her as well. I love that.
That's like saying I got to run a 26-mile race and I just finished the first mile. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to look at it as like, that's a step, right? 18 rooms is a step. Yep. I'm laughing because I mean, we were 10 years of complete growth and like 18 rooms. And the good news is what's going to happen is when people come back, hopefully when you book a convention, you book a group, you book a family reunion, you'll actually have somebody answer the damn phone. One of the things that I did many, many times, not only in my company, but on the show, is I would call hotels in New York City to see if they would pick up the phone. And 90% of them didn't pick up the phone. And then when you left a message, they didn't call you back for 2 days. And the ones that did, any hotels I've run or hotels I know are very good hotels, they call you back or they answer the phone immediately. It was a rule at lunch that somebody would have to take the phone to lunch with them, their cell phone, and it has to be transferred to pick up the call because I knew that could be a 50-room group for 2 weeks. Who knows in New York City? So you're going to see once it comes back, hopefully a little bit more attention to those groups when they come back.
Yeah, I sure
I'm fighting with you, man. Because you're a good fighter because you were very nice. You wrote a beautiful letter to me about me not giving you ties when I told you I would because you donated so much money to my charity, and I should say our charity. It's the Colleen and Anthony charity at this point. And you sent such a beautiful letter that made me feel so guilty. To this day, I can't look at one of my ties without thinking about you.
Yeah, here's an interesting thing that Steve D'Erasmo is saying. Anticipate a small blip in room demand. I assume you meant blip and not blimp in room demand over the next 2 to 4 weeks when parents return to college campuses to pick up children when on-campus operations shut down for the semester. Let's hope you're wrong, Steve. We do not want to see that happening.
Oneonta just shut down for 2 weeks upstate because of 100 and something COVID cases. Listen, it comes down to the kids, right? It comes down to kids making good decisions. And, at 18 years old, your frontal lobe isn't.
I was about to say, I don't recall making a lot of good decisions when I was in college.
You're still not making them. You're working with me. But
point taken.
Let's say we have a little bit more time than we normally do. I know we both got things to do after the show immediately, but let's do something that's positive. Give me not something you've experienced, but say something that you've heard that's been positive in the last weekend. What and I'll give you mine while you're thinking. I guess I did experience it. So I was on the beach. Mm-hmm. I was on the beach and I saw the pigeons and the surfers and children and everyone coming together for just enjoying the weather. Everybody was relatively social distance. There were a lot of surfers. And I didn't have my mask on. My bike was behind me, and I was just looking at everybody play. And I got to tell you, it lifted my spirits, and it made me realize that one day we will get back to normal. And this is it was pleasant. So what I took away from that is constantly trying to look for things that feed your soul. And I did something that I've been doing probably 3-4 days a week for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think I mentioned it. I've been having ice cream for lunch. So I've been doing these intermittent fastings. And so yesterday I realized it's like I'm hungry. It was 2:00. I haven't eaten in maybe, I don't know, 15, 16 hours. I was like, oh, what am I in the mood for? I was like, let me go get some ice cream, vegan ice cream, because I'm allergic. But so yesterday for lunch, I had a vegan ice cream cone, and it made me happy. So I'm not going to have one today because I'm too busy, but I'm going to have one tomorrow. And I think we just got to find that happiness. So that was my happiness. That was what I felt, was a great moment. What was your great moment there, my friend Glenn?
You know what? My great moment is I feel like we're getting back to it. So it's not necessarily one specific moment as much as a lot of little wins that we're starting to pick up here, Anthony. For example, last week when we had the pleasure of going down to Borgata, Atlantic City to interview Melanie Johnson, we got out on the road. Tomorrow, we're gonna be doing a live show from a hotel, getting back on the road.
You mean Wednesday?
I mean Wednesday. Okay, on Wednesday. Sorry,
Tuesday or Wednesday, David.
David will let us know. Sorry about that. I think you might be right.
Private chat. I think it's Wednesday, but it's Wednesday.
Yeah, sorry. On Wednesday. Yeah, sorry, guys. Wednesday, we'll be getting back out and doing another live broadcast. How awesome is that? In just a few weeks from now, it looks like I'm going to be getting on an airplane to go somewhere. Another symbol about getting back to normal.
Where are we going to the National Harbor Hotel?
Dave is working on that, I believe. And yes, tomorrow we have Stephen Rushmore Jr. from HVS on the show. Yes, producer Dave. So a lot of good stuff. I'm not looking at it as a big thing. I'm looking at it as let's get a lot of little wins, keep hitting those singles, get men on base, and then let's drive it home so we could all be happy and successful, hopefully by the end of the year. Stamina.
Yeah. Okay, my friends. All right. So one more question for you. Why we have one more minute? Because my mind, it's just working overtime. Your favorite TV show and your favorite moment from that TV show, Glenn?
Like of all time?
Yeah, and I'll give you mine from as you think about that. I am going to say it's tied. It's tied between of course the I Love Lucy when she was putting all the chocolate in her apron when the conveyor belt was going too fast. Love that. And I just love the way Frasier entered the room. Not Frasier, Kramer entered.
Kramer?
So on Seinfeld. So those are my favorite moments from TV. What are yours, my friend?
All right. My growing up, my favorite show was MASH, although I got to tell you, I don't really think it holds up in the way that it should. But at the time when I was in single-digit age, I thought it was the most incredible thing. But one of my most favorite TV moments of all time was at the very last minute of the TV series Newhart, where he wakes up in the bed, looks to his wife, and it's his wife from the previous TV series he was on, the Bob Newhart Show, and the entire Newhart series turns out to be a dream of the previous TV series he was on. Clever, interesting. People have been trying to hit home runs like that ever since with TV series endings, and they just haven't been able to do it.
Sopranos crapped the bed on the final episode.
Well, they all do. Lost, I think, was horrific. I know you're all going to fight me out there about that.
Seinfeld, I think they all did a terrible job.
It's too much. There's too much pressure going into these things in order to be able to make everybody happy at a single time. Okay. I am curious. One show that I really used to love back in the day, Fawlty Towers, about the hotel industry, a British show starring John Cleese. I think there's only 12 or 13 episodes. I wonder how that stands up today. I haven't watched that show in like 20 years.
Talking about hotel shows, there's a new hotel show on Amazon Prime that you can get all 9 seasons for free.
New?
They're new to you if you haven't seen it. Listen, all of my shows, 108 shows from Hotel Impossible, are now free on Amazon. I get no money from it, unfortunately, but they're free to you. Even if you pay for it, I don't get money, so it doesn't matter. So, but Amazon Prime, because I guess they're getting such a demand for it, now are giving it for free.
Excellent.
The first 4, I was getting a lot of compliments and a lot of people watching those. So now they give him 5 more, and I know my friend Kevin Abernathy will be happy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's wrap this thing up for today, Anthony. All right, so make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866. And Anthony, I've been busy refiguring out how that thing should look. So it's an all brand new look for you guys. Let me know what you think on it. Anthony, read this one.
Great, Anthony, would you wish my daughter Grace a happy birthday? She turns 14, loves your show so much. I'll do two things. One, I will wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday. And thank you so much for watching it. If you DM me at my Instagram, give me your cell number and I will send you a private video.
Oh, wow. That is so freaking cool.
All right.
I love that.
So happy birthday. Listen, anytime a 14-year-old girl's going to watch my show, I get so excited when kids watch my shows. And because it really tells that hopefully they're learning something. Hopefully not just the curse words I use, but just hopefully they're learning something. And hopefully it gets them to go in the hospitality industry. My greatest accolades when I hear somebody went in the hotel business because of our show. So fantastic. And listen, right now I'm going to say this thing over and over until people listen. Right now is the time to reach out to people to help you. So if you're in this industry, you're young in this industry, you're a student in this industry, want to be in the hospitality industry, reach out to me on DM and LinkedIn. I try to get to everyone. I don't always accomplish my goal, but I try. I will try to help you. Right now, you need an advocate in this industry. Between me and Glenn, we know a lot of people. I've placed a couple of people this last weekend, so we'll do our best. So if you're a student, listen. If you're a person trying to get a job in the business industry 20 years, probably won't be able to help you right now. But I will talk to any student. Please DM me, and I will try to help you in any way I can. And of course, if you're looking for a job and you've been in the industry 20 years, if I can help you, I will. So happy birthday, Grace.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, same goes for me. I don't know how much I'll be able to help, but I do know a lot of people, maybe not at the property level, but all these executives and stuff we have on the show. I know a couple of those guys
and ladies. Show and reach out to these people. All these people are on. Find their DMs. Say, I saw you on the Anthony and Glenn show. Like it blows my mind that people on the show aren't getting inundated with requests to talk to them. So please use the people. Please DM them. Get back to them. And if they don't get back to you, Glenn will go to their house and knock on the door.
Yeah, that's right. And I will threaten them on your behalf. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with Stephen Rushmore Jr. of HVS. Lots of great numbers to get our hotel geek on, Anthony. I know you're going to love that one. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we're going to be broadcasting live from a hotel. And then some more good stuff to round out the rest of the week there, right?
Yeah, it's a great hotel, too. I walked it the other day, and I purposely did not post any pictures from it because I'm really excited to show you the hotel.
And I would also like to say congratulations to Joe Hessian of Snow Operating, who was on our show last month. He's the one who's got the ski slope at the mall in New Jersey. I'm forgetting the name of that mall, the Mall of Miracles or something.
Oh my gosh.
I just totally blanked on it.
God. Hold on.
Right.
I just
forget our old man recall issues, but congratulate American Dream. Thanks, Dave.
No,
the American Dream.
No, hold on. That is, I'll find it.
The American Dream.
No, that's the complex.
Yeah, okay. He's Snow Operating is the name of his company.
Yeah, but the name of the mountain is I don't have it handy, but the name of the mountain is
no, Dave, Mountain Creek is the former Action park that he also owns.
So, Joe,
the indoor ski slope.
Leave it to us to screw this up.
All right, sorry, Joe. We're trying to do you a nice favor, and then screwed the whole dang thing up. I got to tell you, I watched that Action Park documentary over the weekend, and Joe Hessian happened to have been in it. It's on HBO Max. I highly recommend all of you check it out. For those of you that lived in the New York area that happen to be of a certain age, you are going to freaking love it. For those of you who have no idea what an insanity Action Park was, I think you're going to love it too. Big Snow, American Dream.
Big Snow, thank you.
American Dream.
Big Snow, thank you. I knew David would get that to us. And American Dream is the mall, is the shopping complex, where they really call it entertainment complex, where they have a Nickelodeon themed amusement, and then they have an indoor water park. And that is, I don't know if those are open, and I don't know if any of the retail shops, if that's opening right now. But I know the reason you're congratulating him is because they're opening.
Yep.
Right. You left that part out. They're opening.
No, I think they're opening tomorrow.
Yeah. So
let's go.
So let's go there and do the show.
We are. I've already got a note out to the man. So Dave, I'm going to pass that along to you. We'll get that all set up. Guys, thanks so much. What hotel are you reviewing this week? Are we allowed to share the name of the hotel, Anthony?
Colleen, for you, I will tell you if you email me, but I cannot tell you. I want to hold it until Wednesday.
Yeah, and the thing is, the hotel is not officially open yet as well. Right. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for being here. We absolutely love you. Thank you so much for helping us build this great community and participating in our show day after day after day, month after month after month. Believe it or not, we've been at this 6 months already. Just remember,